Jack Shade's coming, sure as death, to lay you down and steal your breath. Put on your mask, hide with care, and pray the angel finds you there. Salvation's near, we'll carry on, but first survive until the dawn.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TinyBlueGames. My name, of course, is Cisa, or Chris, and today we're talking about Shades Eve. That's right, it is Halloween time in Wildstar, and for once, my channel trailer opening actually should be creepy and fits well with the video, so for all those people who are terrified, at least you should be terrified this time. No, but really it was a nice little segue into the Halloween horror that is Wildstar. And we are in full tilt swing. We are in the little instance that you can go into. This is a interesting confession. I've played Wildstar, I don't know, how long has it been out for now? Like almost 3 years? Does that sound right? Or is it 2 years? I think it must be almost 3 years now that it's been out. And interestingly enough, I never was playing Wildstar or into the game enough during October, so I've never actually experienced Shades Eve. Or, well, I guess I was playing the game pretty solidly the first year it launched, but they didn't have holidays during the first year it launched, so I didn't see Shades Eve that year, and then I had sort of taken a break from the game the following years during October and just randomly never experienced this event. So weirdly enough, this is actually my first time doing this instance, which is kind of crazy. And also interesting because I tried soloing it at first and it didn't go super well for me. I mean, I'm level 30 and it looks like you get scaled up to 50, but it was pretty damn difficult to kill a lot of the enemies in this instance. So I'm not really sure what happened there, but I went back in with a group of 3 members and had a lot of fun doing it. So I think it's a great instance. It's very creepy, kind of tells a story, and you can tell that there is lore there. We get to learn about the Angel and Jack Shade and sort of see the story they had. You come into the instance and you hear the Angel kind of telling you a bit more about this world and, you know, a plague and stuff like that she sort of helped cure and stuff like that, which you don't really learn until later on. But you do get to learn that the mayor is kind of a bad person, that there's a plot that's going on that's not really clear to everyone, but you just know that there's something more sinister going on. And eventually you do end up getting to, you know, the lair and like this big underground sort of facility where the mayor is turning himself into Jack Shade, and that's what the final boss is. Spoilers if you too haven't played Halloween in the last few years, but it was a very fun instance to do, and I thought it was very cool because not only did it deliver a great story, but it actually was pretty good experience. I went from about 60% to 99%. So I got about 40% on my level 30 character. I was using experience boosts and rest XP and stuff like that, but it's still pretty good to do. Whereas, you know, a lot of games, when you look at World of Warcraft, the experience you gain from it, from like these sort of special holiday event instances, is usually terrible. You usually do it for like a chance at like a collectible item or something like that, which could be the case here as well, but the added fact that you get experience from it makes it very repeatable for people that are leveling. So I find that very cool. And then it was fun doing it with the 3 people. I really enjoyed the first part, even though it's very easy to get lost when you're in like the dark woods. I think they played very well with the idea of using light and having resources for, you know, your weapon skills and like that. It's kind of a mini game within the instance that you don't get to see very often, and I do enjoy it. I think the lighting effects in Wildstar are one of the strongest things it has to play with. Specifically the headlamp kind of effect that they have. You do it a bit in like, I don't know, on Far Side and in certain questing parts you do the headlamp kind of thing, and I always thought that it was very, very cool and definitely makes it feel like you're in a different environment. I think it would be cool to have those kind of effects more in this instant content, like dungeons and raids in the future, if that's available. So yeah, I had a lot of fun with this event. Obviously, the other aspects of the game that have changed is that there's different decorations you can buy, and the actual cities themselves are decorated based on Halloween, which is very nice. I obviously go to Thade because, exiles are the leaders of this world, but Dominion and Ilium probably look nice too. Who's to say? I haven't been there, but they look sick, so just know that. I don't know why I'm so cocky about being an exile. We're worthless in the world, but we like to band together, and we're strong because of it. And hey, I'm like 31 now, so, bit by bit, I'm getting there. It's been a good little experience trying out the Halloween stuff in Wildstar, because if for anyone who's a casual MMO player, you know that the month of October, it's pretty crazy because pretty much every MMO has a Halloween event and they all kind of turn on at the same time. So it's really a question of where you can put your resources into games, because like I play Guild Wars 2 obviously a fair bit, and the events kind of turned on exactly at the same time. So I'm trying to like do certain things in that game to collect items, and I really wanted to give this game a go for Halloween, and I've been very pleased with it. I think this dungeon that they have in this game, well, it's like an expedition in this game, I guess, kind of tells like a really good story, and I think that's what they've done very well. I'm not sure if the story has been pushed in any other ways. Maybe people who've played the Halloween content a bit more can tell me if there has been like sort of updates to the story, because that's always the thing we talk about in Guild Wars 2, whereas it's usually just a repeat of the same events each year. We're all super excited to see if the story gets pushed a little bit more, because the big story in Guild Wars 2 is that the Mad King, which is their equivalent to Jack Shade or whatever, has ties to different characters in Guild Wars 2 and Guild Wars 1 lore, specifically Palau Ajoko, who is a pretty major character in the newest expansion. So we were all sort of hoping that there would be some pretty interesting ties there. There wasn't anything crazy huge, but there was, a bit of lore, and, you had to go and kill Palau Ajoko's minions on behalf of the Mad King and stuff like that for achievements. So there was just little breadcrumbs, and I'm wondering if there's that kind of style of thing that's happened in the events in this game or not. But who knows? I've very much enjoyed the Halloween content so far. I know that there are dailies and stuff I can do for the Halloween content. I'm pretty sure they just reward different cosmetic things, which, I mean, is all I would really expect it to reward anyways, so I'm not really judging it, but I don't know if I'll have time to do that or if I should just focus on leveling myself, so we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. But I'm going to be enjoying a lot of Halloween stuff over the month of October. Like, it's just such a exciting month because, some games do the Thanksgiving thing, and then at that point it's usually, is it US or Canada Thanksgiving that they followed and stuff like that. And I mean, not really many games actually have a Thanksgiving event now that I'm thinking about it. The only game that obviously I'm thinking of that does is MapleStory, which I don't know why I keep on bringing it up on this this channel. It's just because it's really ingrained into my head, and that game had the most amount of holidays like you could ever have. Like every month there was something happening, but in Thanksgiving time there would be turkeys that run around and you have to kill them, and then there'd be Halloween and stuff like that. So anyways, I guess what I'm saying is that holidays are very good for games. They keep things very interesting while offering a reoccurring sort of nostalgic feeling each and every year. I often wonder what kind of impact it would have had in Wildstar's launch if there had been festivals the very first year that it launched. Because, they sort of played it off that, we don't need festivals. We should work on making the game better, making it so that people want to stay, making the end game better and stuff like that. And that's a pretty valid argument statement. But I think people underestimate the value of festivals, specifically for casual players. And I guess you can go back to the point that Wildstar was not trying to cater to casual players, but you have to have some of the casual players there. And I mean, even the hardcore people like doing festivals and knowing that the game world changes from time to time. It can't just be all about grinding and raids and stuff like that. There has to be a little bit of magic to the world. And I think the festivals really allow the world to show its magic and build upon its uniqueness. Because not only do a lot of MMOs do these holidays that are based off Halloween or Christmas or whatever, but they go and take it and change it a bit. Like the Wildstar Christmas holiday, which I did get to experience one year, is very focused on the greed of Christmas, and the Protostar people demonstrate that so well in this world, right? Like it's all about the malls and the shopping and people buying stuff and the whole like consumption of Christmas. And I think they do that so well. Whereas Halloween is a different feel, where it's very creepy, actually. Like, look at that guy. He's just badass. I think it's so magical. And I do wonder if having put the holidays out would have retained a few more people for a bit longer. Maybe it would have bought them a bit longer. Because, like, you know, developing the holidays as opposed to just changing up how the game works, the holidays probably aren't as much work, depending on how much of the holidays they had prepared for the launch of the game. And that is a big question too, because we know that they had the holidays planned out, but maybe they had nothing prepared and it was completely unrealistic to have them the first year. I think we can all agree that Wildstar probably should have launched a bit later than it did. And it's so funny because you can say that for so many games that launch. You know, they're like, hey, if it had just waited until it's ready, it would have been so good. And it's so hard to say, you know, when it is ready. I think the bigger thing is that as a community and MMO players as a community, we have to accept the fact that a game that launches isn't going to be, you know, WoW quality when it first comes out. And I'm not saying WoW is a good MMO. I'm saying that WoW has had 10 years or whatever to prepare itself and have like these, you know, in-game events and have these things polished. So we can't expect a game that comes out and hasn't had these 10 years to work on itself to be of that quality. And I think that's where people get tripped up when new MMOs come out, because they're like, they have such big expectations. Like, they look at all these new features that it's going to offer, but then they expect that all the quality of life improvements that old games that have had such long development time, that these new games will also have those. And they're like, oh, it has like awesome combat, but the freaking Q finder doesn't work exactly how this old game had the Q finder. And it's just like, guys, it can't have everything. Like, it's not like someone's been working on this game for 20 years and watching the development of other games and implementing that development during the time. Like, it just can't do that. You have to sort of know that it's going to be an iterative process behind the scenes. But anyways, I don't know how this conversation got so focused on new MMOs and development of Wildstar, but it did. All this to say, I thought this dungeon was extremely good. And I guess that's what I'm trying to say, is that, you know, I would have loved to have played this the first year that I was playing Wildstar, when it was quite popular. I think it would have been a very cool experience for a lot of people, especially my friends who no longer play the game probably would have loved this a lot. It's a very cool looking area, and the decorations and atmospheres that they can create is truly what wins Wildstar for me. So guys, that's my thoughts on the dungeon. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are a veteran to Wildstar and Shades Eve events, please let me know what else I should check out during this month, because I definitely will take a look. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Have a nice day.